Hello and welcome. This is Gray Hughes of Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching. What's going on? You know what we should do is, should we go and, maybe we should go listen, you know that the hearing that was earlier today, I guess I want to hear, I missed the part about like, when he mentioned the knife. Wouldn't it be amazing if they did find a knife? Because why would Kohberger order knife sheaths if he didn't keep the knife somehow? He'd want to have the full intact knife to say, look, no, it's right here. You know? Anyways. How's it going, everybody? How's it going? Let me go. Let's open that up from earlier. Hold on. I'm gonna see if I can find it. I just thought of that. I wasn't really. I thought they were talking about like a demonstrative knife, but I didn't really hear the situation, so I'm gonna have to go back and look at it. Let's see, hold on a second. So that was from today, the live. Yeah, if we go to the live stream. Is that now? Oh, that's right now. I gotta go to the one from earlier. Hold on. My guy types so fast. Alright, right there. Okay. So that was early in the morning. Let's go to more, then transcript, and then over here we can do, yeah. See, it's just weird. Why can't I get, I mean, it's just, God, this fucking sucks. See, other people are discussing it with thousands of people watching, and they don't even discuss it better. It's just absolutely crazy. Let's see, knife. Yeah, I don't know how to, hold on, let me get the, if I scroll all the way down, then I hit Control F, knife. Two. Okay. I think he left the knife sheath and so that's me talking. He's got his little K-bar. Gray sheath gray wise is his left People are gathering. Knife in the water. Right. It was kind of later in the show, right? Security lines such as don't know if... Huh. So they said something just prior to that, but it would be a sample. Probably be a display case. Okay, he's talking. Items like guns and knives, a display box that the item would then be locked in. Let me just go to the spot here.
Marshal service and who to talk to there. We tend to use for dangerous items like guns and knives, a display box that the item would then be locked in to display to the jury, and so that can go to the jury without fear of an accident happening.
But he's not aware of a gun.
I don't think there are any guns in this case, so I'm not as worried about that in terms of those being pointed at anyone by accident. But in terms of the knife, it'll probably be in a display case.
You know, it's interesting that he said the knife. He didn't say, like, a knife, you know. And, I mean, I didn't really... I thought he was just talking about... Because you would bring a K-bar knife to use as a demonstrative, like, hey, everybody, look at the demonstrative... I mean, look at this knife. Look how big it is. This is what he used. This is the same kind that he ordered. We have the sheath from that. But it sounds like that when he said... the knife, like they've actually recovered it, like they have the weapon. And maybe he was always, see, that's what I'm saying, when he left the knife sheath as a calling card, that he would always keep using the same knife. But then why was he thinking of buying another knife? Was he going to throw away that one? And then, I mean, it's pretty interesting, right, that he was going to buy knife sheaths. That's crazy. He was going to a K-bar or a utility knife sheath he was looking for. But doesn't that sound sort of like they have it, the way he worded that?
And who to talk to there. We tend to use for dangerous items like guns and knives, a display box that the item would then be locked in to display to the jury.
Hey, thanks, wise child.
And so that can go to the jury without fear of an accident happening. I don't think there are any guns in this case, so I'm not as worried about that in terms of those being pointed at anyone by accident. But in terms of the knife, it'll probably be in a display case.
The knife. I wonder if he felt like he shouldn't have said that right there.
It would just be a sample knife.
I thought it was sample. I wonder if he kind of put his head down right there, like, wait a minute. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, a little bit of a pause there. That's crazy. That does sound like that. Let's listen to that one more time. I don't mean to, like, get to...
X or whatever, and should hand it to you to use. These for the document
Jeffrey
exhibits,
Siddall.
photograph exhibits. Physical object exhibits, work with the marshals on getting them in the courthouse. So, for example, if it's something that's going to raise alarms at the security line.
But how come that was never mentioned in the, the information that they found at the, did they find this after the fact? Wouldn't that be, this would be incredible, you guys. It's like in those original search warrants, they have these things that they found. But what if they found this later by analyzing data and found a spot and literally found the K-bar knife? Outside of this, there's no way in hell the defense team would ever bring it up in any motions at all. But here he is talking about something like that.
Such as, a knife. Make sure you've got the aid of security in advance to get through that. The TCA.
Yeah, so he was just speaking hypothetically at first, And then he went out of his way to say that there's no, well, there's no gun used, of course. So, hey, wow, thanks, Alan J. Look at that. We've got 10 memberships there. Jesse Maynard got one. I wonder if Cindy J will get one tonight. G's Mom 0509, Dixie Willow, Sassy Squatch 207, Trish Edabi, That's My Shoe, Just the Facts Please, Just Dan Oki, and Daniela R.
They can direct you to the Marshal Service and who to talk to there. We tend to use for dangerous items like guns and knives a display box that the item would then be locked in.
See, and then right here he goes out of his way to say that it's not the gun. It's not a gun, you know.
To display to the jury, and so that can go to the jury without fear of an accident happening. I don't think there are any guns in this case, so I'm not as worried about that in terms of those being pointed at anyone by accident. But in terms of the knife, we'll probably be in a display case.
But in terms of the knife, God, you know, I didn't really think of it like that earlier. I thought they were talking about a demonstrative aid in the case, like, yeah, you know, and it could still be that, but it does sound like, you know, when he's referring to the knife, I mean, who says it like that? That's crazy. What do you mean you were hoping to see a different thumbnail or topic? What do you mean? Jesus. Let's see. Yeah, this is what we're talking about. We had a whole hearing today, and now we're going over it. It does sound like they might have it. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy.
The jury without fear of an accident happening. I don't think there are any guns in this case, so I'm not as worried about that in terms of those being pointed at anyone by accident. But in terms of the knife, we'll probably be in a display case.
But it would just be a sample knife. That's what I thought. But look at that. It almost looks like he realized he shouldn't have said that. Okay, just one last time.
It can direct you to the Marshal Service and who to talk to there. We tend to use for dangerous items like guns and knives a display box that the item would then be locked in to display to the jury, and so that can go to the jury without fear of an accident happening. I don't think there are any guns in this case, so I'm not as worried about that in terms of those being pointed at anyone by accident. But in terms of the knife, we'll probably be in a display case.
But it would just be a sample knife. Yeah, I think the mic wasn't the right mic for the earlier show. My computer switched me. That's why I sound muffled. I don't know if it's any better now, but
talk to there. We tend to use for dangerous items like guns and knives a display box that the item would then be locked in to display to the jury, and so that can go to the jury without fear of an accident happening. I don't think there are any guns in this case, so I'm not as worried about that in terms of those being pointed at anyone by accident. But in terms of the knife, we'll probably be in a display case.
But it would just be a sample knife. I don't know if they're looking, what they're looking at each other about there. It could be like, wow, he just said that there was a knife. I don't know. That'd be really crazy. It wasn't listed as one of the items found, so it might be something that they found later. You know, like, did they find it later in their investigation and just kept it under wraps? I mean, I mean, that's probably why the prosecution, along with all the other information, is so confident and just like, we got it. So imagine this: if you had cast information that leads you out into some area, and you find, you actually find the knife related to his car movements. His cell phone movements, right? And then remember how they mentioned twice that when he was near Johnson, I guess we have to go look at the. Are you guys interested in this topic tonight? I know it's disappointing to some, but let's see. I like covering this because it's interesting to me. Yeah, so down here, the Johnson, Washington. Remember how it pinged there at 5:32, or I think it was 5:32 to 5:36, something like that. Remember that? And they said it pinged consistently with it being there. And also, in the morning, in the new documents, or at least on that special, it shows that the phone pinged near Johnson on the way back, which is not something that was in the probable cause document. That was in, and so I'm wondering if they found the knife somewhere out here, which is crazy. But if his phone pinged, it was 16 minutes late here, so I don't know how you would find the time to put it there. He might have just put it there later in the evening when he went back. I don't know how that worked, but when he went there from 5:32 to 5:36, when he turned his phone on. Oh, the Diddy case? Jesus. Man, talk about, that thing is just too much going on in that thing. This is like a confined case. That one's got 100 cases, and it's kind of, sort of interesting, but it's maybe the next morning when he went back. When you say the next morning, it's the same morning. Yeah, it was 5 in the morning. Let's open up the, here's my timeline right here. So that would be at 5 something. Right here. See, this is what they said on that special. Cast data. Okay, not that part. It's this one right here. Was it 5? Maybe I forgot to put that in here. But they have a time frame right around, no, it was no, it's up here farther, right? 5:20. Let me type in Johnson. That was the next day. All right, I'm gonna have to go watch that again. But they said it was even in the morning on the way back at 5. It was earlier than this, so it was probably right around, according to date. Oh wait, that's right. Follows Kohberger's movements according to Dateline. 5:20, and that was when it was near Johnson. That was the one right there. See, that was according to Dateline, and that was Johnson, Washington. So there you go. At 5:20, that wasn't in the probable cause document. So it's 5:20, and then 5:20 something here, etc. All right. Man, that's just crazy. So he drove by here at 5:20 in the morning near Johnson here, and then 5 minutes later he's kind of over in this area. That's about right too. Near Johnson. Now that's too many times Johnson's been mentioned in this to kind of just overlook it, because they specifically said that his phone at 5:32 in the evening was consistent with where his vehicle was during the day. So it's almost like, I don't think they had found the knife when the probable cause was put out. If they had, I think that would have been in there. Thanks, Alley Cake. But what do you guys think? Do you think that means that they found... let's do a poll here. Hold on. All right, there we go. There's the poll question. Thanks, Alley Cake. Hey, did somebody else buy memberships? I must have missed it. Oh, look, Cheryl Moran got 10 memberships up there. Give to In the Pines, Kim Robinson, Hallucinogenic Recipe, Angie, Hypnotic Drifter, D. Rod, Susan, Falling Star Tonight, and Catch Me If You Can. I mean, I think the Diddy case is, I don't know. I mean, that would be something that you would, I don't even know how you follow it and keep up with every single one of the cases. I mean, we kind of did the overview of it, you know. I mean, covered it for a little bit. We even read some of the different allegations in a book by somebody. It's pretty crazy, but I don't know. I got to do what's interesting to me. You know, this is the one that I'm the most interested in. And I try to mix stuff in every once in a while. Currently, like just the other day, I did a couple cold cases, and you'd have to have someone in there. All right. So, anyways, I'm going to show you guys something else that came out today. I don't think there's a point though to coming into the show and saying, "Oh man, this topic again." If you don't like it, just don't watch it. It's no big deal, you know. Well, let's see. We've got go to here. Just kind of makes me really in a downer mood at that point. All right, so here we go. Based on sensitive information not previously publicly circulated that was reported during a recent Dateline TV program related. This just came out after we were on the earlier show. This came out. It's kind of a little bit like the Delphi case, but the leak or whatever came from a prosecution side, not the prosecutors themselves. I think it came from the FBI. Based on sensitive information not previously publicly circulated that was reported during a recent Dateline TV program related to this case and the defendant Brian Kohberger, it appears likely that someone violated this court non-dissemination order. Such violations not only undermine the rule of law potentially by persons charged with upholding it, but also significantly impede the ability to seat an impartial jury. See, that would make it hard. A huge show like that you put out there, and then you have way more people, like Dateline, right? I mean, Dateline's covered it, but now you've got like information that is out that is, hurts the I mean, I don't really give a damn, but it's like, yeah, does make it harder to find an impartial juror, Importantly, such violations potentially frustrate the ability to ensure both sides receive a fair trial. Accordingly, the court finds it is imperative to attempt to see the source of such leak is identified. So the court wants to identify the leak and held accountable, just like in the Delphi case, they went and found the leak. It came from the defense team. But that wasn't a leak to a reporter. So the reporters at Dateline, they're not going to say where they got their information from. That reporters don't do that. Accordingly, the court finds it is imperative to attempt to see that the source of such leak is identified and held to account, and that doing so is the best deterrent to future violations. Accordingly, the courts find it's appropriate to exercise its discretion by entering the order. It is hereby ordered that all persons who at any time, past or present, work directly or indirectly by employment, contract, consultation, or otherwise for or on behalf of defendant Brian Kohberger or his defense counsel, or otherwise engaged in the investigation of the murders that are the subject of the, it could have, I don't know, I guess, I don't think it came from the defense. Instant case on their behalf are hereby prohibited from deleting, discarding, overriding, destroying, altering, or otherwise making unavailable any, whether electronic or material form, records, files, documents, metadata, messages, emails, text messages, direct or private messages, phone logs, or logs of communication, regardless of whether made or kept on or on a work-owned or personal account, device, or messaging app, that in any way relate to the documents, the fact, or substance of communications with third persons, including representatives of the media or other persons or entities outside of law enforcement, which communications in any way relate to, refer to, or concern the investigation or defense of Brian Kohberger, the facts or allegations uncovered or reported to law enforcement or defense counsel concerning Brian Kohberger, or the investigation into the homicides that are subject of the current or then potential criminal prosecution of Brian Kohberger, collectively documents or singularly a document. Yeah, so all such documents or materials of record that could potentially constitute a document, even if it's uncertain whether such meet the criteria, shall be preserved and must be protected from deletion, alteration, or loss until further order of the court. Any features on any devices or account that is set to automatically delete or overwrite information that could be covered by this order must immediately be disabled. Let's see. Yeah, I've got a... Oh, and welcome up there to Mac Jack. Yeah, let's try to stick to this case tonight, you guys. Let's see. But yeah, I agree that the judge in the Karen Reed case seems really sort of odd. I got to be honest. Just seeing the stuff that I've seen, she just sort of, she goes out of her way to find, like go against the defense team in that case, like, only when it's like obvious that she can't. It's not the greatest. I've seen it. I've seen a whole bunch of different moments in there. It is further ordered that within 7 days, the lead defense counsel shall submit to the court in camera a list of individuals within their team, past or present, who are known to have had access to... Why are they talking about the defense team? Who are known to have had access to any facts related to... I wonder if... Because here's the thing is, did the defense team somehow leak this to create that issue, that how can he get a fair trial now? You know what I mean? Do you think that's possible? Why do they keep mentioning the defense team? I thought this came from, like, the FBI. Does it also say the prosecution? See, right here it says, it's hereby ordered, past, present, who directly or indirectly by employment, contract, consultation, or otherwise on behalf of defendant Brian Kohberger, like on, the defense team. And then down here it says, it is further ordered that within 7 days, the lead defense counsel shall submit to the court in camera a list of all individuals within their team, past or present, who are known to have had access to any facts related to the investigation of defendant, including but not limited to surveillance videos of suspect vehicle 1, the AT&T records for defendant's cell phone, and the contents of defendant's cell phone and other electronic devices and social media accounts, including internet search history, photographs. Well, maybe it's because when it's the state side, they already have all this stuff. Defendant or any other information referenced in the above-mentioned Dateline episode regarding this case. Counsel is further required to provide a copy of this order to all such individuals and document that it has done so. Failure to comply with this order may be the basis for finding of contempt of court and such other civil and criminal consequences as may be appropriate. Wow. So this seems like it's towards the defense team, when it's most likely that, maybe somebody at the FBI that perhaps, Dateline has a connection with or something, maybe they are the ones. Right. I mean, the FBI, I think, law enforcement did not leak it. In terms of the Idaho State Police and the investigator, the prosecution, but the FBI was also working with them, and they're the ones that had the CAS data. They obviously have the camera information and all the other information. They have it. So, it's very possible that they did it, but then this whole order seems like it's directed towards the defense team. Oh, yeah, and there is another document. So that's what I was wondering. There was 2 documents. I thought they just changed the date, the number here to 7. But maybe it's like an identical article mentioning the prosecution. That just popped into my head. Right before that, I was like, wait a minute, there was that other document. I was going to go. Okay, there's 2 of them here. They look the same. There's one that has text written in. So maybe this is talking to... Oh, there you go. Let's see. It's hereby ordered that all persons who at any time, past or present, work directly or indirectly by employment, contract, consultation, otherwise, for or behalf of any law enforcement or prosecution agency. There you go. So now it's open. It's an open investigation. It wasn't like one-way directed. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it came from FBI contact with Dateline. And Dateline is not going to give up their source, but this guy is talking about putting a special prosecutor in there. You know that? And then that guy's going to go around, or woman, or whoever it is going to go out and try to find the answer. Maybe somebody will leak something to them. Anyways, that's pretty crazy, isn't it? Thank you, Christy B. It's further ordered. Within 7 days, the lead defense counsel shall... So what do we have up there? So most people say no up there. Why is that? Up around that pool. What do you guys... Why are most people saying no, they do not have the knife? Can you guys answer that? The way that was worded was... It sounded like they had it. I said pull. Are you okay, Jeffrey? Come on. Come on. What are you talking about? Pull. Or pull. Did I say... forget it. It's 65%, though. Look at that. That's crazy. No, but that they wouldn't mention... There's no way in hell they're going to mention... The defense team would never mention this in any of their documents. Because as soon as it came out, then there'd be a document that came out that showed how they found it or where they found it. Well, I don't know if we must have 189 people voted.
I'm not certain myself. I think it's the way he worded it, the knife, is very, that sounds like he's talking about the knife in the case. It's not like, it could be that they're going to use a demonstrative aid knife, a K-bar knife, and it still needs to be put in there. But that's not really how he said it. I think he would have said something like, yeah, we're going to put a knife in the, maybe put one of those in the case, because instead it was like the knife. That's actually one of those words that when you're analyzing people's words that matters, I guess I should have had 3 choices up there. I mean, I know. I don't know myself. I'm just saying. The way he worded it sounded like it very well could be they have the actual knife. You would think the prosecution would not want to endanger the outcome of the case by leaking info. However, the defense has something to gain. Right, they do have something to gain. However, so does Dateline NBC. I bet you that episode was probably one of the most watched episodes they've ever had. I think that one was probably, probably right up there with OJ or something like that. I mean, I've watched it twice. I got to go watch it again. Got to get that time frame correct. Someone is hearing me. I don't know what that means. All right, well, I guess. Okay, but if you got here late, I'm gonna play that part again. All right. I don't know. Is this the one here? Yeah, that was it. Was around
An accident happening. I don't think there are any guns in this case, so I'm not as worried about that in terms of those being pointed at anyone by accident. But in terms of the knife, it'll probably be in a display case.
But in terms of the knife, it'll be in a display case. So what he was saying was there was no knives, there's no guns involved in the case that he's aware of, so that the knife is involved. The knife. I mean, I don't know, you guys. I know we're just trying to parse it around and whatever, but listen to that again.
Guns and knives, a display box that the item would then be locked in to display to the jury. And so that can go to the jury without fear of an accident happening. I don't think there are any guns in this case, so I'm not as worried about that.
Yeah, I don't think there's any guns in this case, so I'm not really worried about that.
In terms of those being pointed at
In terms of those being pointed at anybody, so.
anyone by accident. But in terms of the knife, it'll probably be in a display case.
But in terms of the knife, it'll be in a display case. I mean, that's interesting, right? I mean, in terms of the knife, it'll be in a display case. That means there is a knife that they're going to be displaying at trial. Does that sound like he's talking about the knife, or is that just, another K-bar they're going to use as a display? To me, it sounded like they have the weapon, because he said, I don't think there was a gun involved in this case, but there's a knife involved in the case, and that will be in the display case. He does say that. I know, and I think, watch what he does after he says that. I mean, it's kind of funny. It's like you almost feel like he goes, oh, shit.
To the jury, and so that can go to the jury without fear of. It can direct you to the Marshal Service and who to talk to there. We tend to use for dangerous items like guns and knives, a display box that the item would then be locked in to display to the jury. And so that can go to the jury without fear of an accident happening. I don't think there are any guns in this case, so I'm not as worried about that in terms of those being pointed at anyone by accident. But in terms of the knife, it'll probably be in a display case.
I don't know. Almost like he was like, kind of quiet for a little bit after that. And these guys are talking to each other over here. I don't know. Yeah, so I mean, it could just be that they're going to use a sample K-bar knife and they're going to keep it in a case. The way he worded it sounds like the knife, meaning that there is one in this case. That's how I look at it. All right, anyways. Watch the prosecution. Yeah, I mean, I know that they're talking and whispering. I don't know what they're saying over there, but it's hard to tell what the prosecution's saying. Yeah, where do you think they found it, Zozo? Wouldn't it be crazy if they found it on their, using their CAS data, like months later, they found it, and the defense does not want the public to know that that's out there. Do you think it was at his parents' house? But how come it wasn't listed on the search warrant and the stuff that they took out of the house? They have to list all that. What do you mean it's listed? I don't think so. Oh, come on. You said K-bar knife. Come on, show me it. Show me it. Send it to me. Show me where it says the K-bar knife was listed there. I'd like to see that. That'd be crazy. Okay, it says knife. All right, it says knife. Okay. Yeah, send me the document that says that. I know, that's wild. Yeah, that's weird. Or, you know, he could have been buying a sheath for, you know, yeah, that's what it seems like. Like he did look into buying the next day a K-bar knife, the next day on the 15th. That's also in there. Look on my timeline here. And you go down to the bottom, hold on, right here on the 15th, Kohberger looked to purchase another K-bar knife. And then it was on the 22nd, he tried to figure out how to delete the account activity after looking up how to purchase, you know, to purchase a utility sheath and K-bar leather sheath. Okay, there you go. Was Ted Bundy the Air Jordan of serial killers? I wouldn't say Air Jordan. I would just say the Jordan, you know. I think he's probably the, you know, I would say he's probably the most famous serial killer. Like, they always mention him. I would say, like, Dahmer's up there, you know, in terms of name recognition. I think Ed Kemper's really low on the list of people that people know about. He should be right at the top of that list. I mean, that guy's absolute nut job. I think the ultimate serial killer would not be caught. Well, he thought he was going to be, but he didn't turn out to be. Thanks, Cam Hart. Yeah, Gacy was pretty famous. I don't think he's as famous as Ted Bundy, though. Like, Ted Bundy's just... Like, if somebody say, name a serial killer, Ted Bundy! That's the first thing you would say every single time. Green River Guide. You guys, we all know all the serial killers. No, it's not. He's not the most famous serial killer, the Green River Killer, okay? Definitely isn't. Let's see. And that was... Yeah, it doesn't matter if we're in the Pacific Northwest. It doesn't make it so. Isn't that... That's Ridgeway, right? Yeah, it's just obviously, but Ted Bundy's literally one of the most everybody knows all the names of different serial killers. Yeah, Ed Gein's a nut job, but he's not famous at all. It's like Danny Rolling isn't really popular. If you just went, who's the most popular serial? I mean, let's just hell. Let's try this. I'm just going to see, just for the hell of it, what does ChatGPT say? Here we go. Just one simple question. I might be wrong, but who is the most famous serial killer? I bet it will put out. Yeah, Zodiac's pretty popular. Let's just see. Ted Bundy, first on the list. Then I named all these one. Dahmer was my second one. Ted Bundy, Dahmer, and then Jack the Ripper. And then look at, now we got Gacy, Ramirez, Manson. I actually forgot about Manson, but I said Ted Bundy and Dahmer. Can I get a boom? Yeah, exactly, Zozo. That's why I said it. Everybody, name a serial killer. Ted Bundy. That would just pop right into your head. All right? I mean, look at Ed Kemper isn't even anywhere near here. I'm going to say, hey, man, why isn't Ed Kemper on this list? Well, because he's not as popular. You're absolutely right to call that out. Ed Kemper deserves a spot, especially in something cultural relevance to psychological fascination. He didn't have a flashy moniker like Night Stalker. His crimes, while horrifying, decapitation, necrophilia, talking to his mother's severed head, weren't sensationalized by the media at the time like Bundy or Dahmer's. That's exactly right. I think if people knew Ed Kemper and what he did, I think he would have been high up on the list. The guy's like 6'9", huge dude, smart as hell, and he would just pick up hitchhikers, kind of practice for a while, and picked up hitchhikers, and he would just the most god awful things you've ever heard of in your life. Unbelievable. Yeah, I've seen those. The Ed Kemper interviews in prison. Yeah, Dahmer was number 2. Yep. So it was Ted Bundy and Dahmer. All right, let's see. I think I just saw the document the other day that had the some of the items found in the search warrant. Okay. Well, you didn't email me the document. You emailed me a sheet. Yeah, it says 1 knife, right? Yep. Yeah, we've seen that before. I mean, it'd be interesting if there was 2 knives used, and that knife, they were able to find a little piece of blood on it. So this is the thing that they sent. We've seen this before. It says knife at the top, all these different things. But that's all it says. So to say that, yeah, they found it, we don't know if that's what that is. Right? I think if anybody's asked, name a serial killer, your first thought is Ted Bundy. Let's see, AT&T. Yeah, black. Oh yeah, pocket knife. A Smith & Wesson pocket knife. Okay. What about it? I mean, it doesn't say. See, this is what I don't like, you guys. I said, do you think they found the K-bar knife? And you go, they did. They said they mentioned it. And then you got really almost belligerent about it. And then we go look at the document, and it says they found a knife. It doesn't say they found the K-bar knife at all. It doesn't say that whatsoever. Now, could it be saying the word knife? Sure. No, no. No way, man. Don't try to change history. Okay? Don't try to change history. And look at, it's just incredible. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, so-and-so, because you're agreeing with me. Let's see. You said up above when I said it, the very first part. Oh man, they collected. You do say they collected a knife, but that was I can't scroll up high enough. I said, "Do you think they found the K-bar knife?" And you go, "Yeah, they found it at his house." That was the reply, and it turns out it's just a knife, not a K-bar knife. Okay. Yeah, I can't scroll up high enough. Your response to what I said was, "They found it at the house." Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. Like that. I remember that, how you responded. Can't go up high enough, though. No, I understand what you're saying. I don't want to be my theory supported when it isn't supporting it, because all it is a knife. Ah, jeez. I knew you were kind of a troll. Let's see. I still believe there's more to find. Keep fighting your supporters, you bastard. Oh, God. You weren't support. Oh, God. Here we go. Have a good one. Let's see. Law enforcement collected tons of stuff from Kohberger. Much of it is irrelevant to the case. Right. Now, we were talking about, did he find the K-bar knife? And I think they may have found it out there. Maybe that is the knife there. It doesn't say that, unfortunately, on it. It seems like they would have, right? Wouldn't they have put K-bar knife on there when just down below they said Smith & Wesson pocket knife? So the knife that they found above, why would they just say knife? Maybe it was just sort of some random off-brand knife that they found because they didn't mention the make and model of it. I didn't block anybody, T-Moral, but I'm about to block you. Let's see. I remember Gray is right. Let's see. I agree. For all we know, it could be a random. Yeah, I'm just saying. It isn't. You know, when we're having these conversations, people jump in like it's a factual thing that they're about to say, and it isn't. Okay, it's just kind of gets really frustrating. I was like, oh my God, really? Where does it show K-bar knife in the documents? Let me see that. And then it's like, well, no, it just says knife. Oh, okay. Yeah. Hey, thanks, Rick Jr. Yep, trying that out. My opinion, they have not found the murder weapon knife. Okay, so what do you think that means then, Mike, when he says, we'll put the knife in the, we'll put the knife in a display case? What knife is he talking about at that time when he's saying that? Right, could be, sure. Doesn't say anything. I don't think it's going to have any effect on the death penalty. But Cindy, you never sent me your email so I could send you the $24 so that you could buy your membership for the year. So when are you going to send that? I want to send you, I'm trying to gift it over. You just haven't done it. Yeah, I said a demonstrative knife earlier, but he didn't word it that way at all. He said the knife, like he's talking about and right before that he mentioned there was no gun used in this case that I'm aware of. But the knife will keep in a case. Hey, thanks, Miss Angels. On a break, just wanted to say thanks for your tireless and factual reporting, Gray. That was from Miss Angels in Australia. G'day, mate. Look at Cheryl Moran gifted 10 more to Karma Greenwich, Jessa Rose, Bro Seth 312, Tina Zakagna, Tabitha Starr, Paula Litzen, Gen 7, and Short and Sweet. I did, Cindy. So send me an email with your PayPal or whatever the hell it is. I'll send you the $24, and then you can be a member for a full year. Okay? How does that sound for you? Or your Venmo or whatever the hell you use. It's just Bella. Would you rather see BK get life and have to be in Gen Pop versus the death penalty? I don't know. He deserves the death penalty. This is one of those cases where, I mean, he is, like Ted Bundy or all the rest of them, a serial killer wannabe. He killed purely out of the enjoyment and pleasure. I think that's why he even does his little thumbs up picture, because he felt good about it. Like, yeah, this feels better than I thought. You know, this is great. And he just killed 4 people for absolutely no reason at all. I couldn't think of a better candidate. I don't know. Maybe they didn't get that information, Cindy. They didn't get everything in the Dateline. They just had a source that gave them some information to make a little documentary. They didn't get everything. It's okay, Cindy. I'll go ahead and send it to you. All right. Don't worry about it. You're not going to get one because I don't know what it is. Some people never get the free memberships, and sometimes if you go, oh, let me sign up, you get one in 10 minutes. So this way you can just sign up again and you can just do it for free for the whole year. What do you think of that? That way you don't have to get lucky to get one. He wouldn't be put in Gen Pop. Well, if he was in, I mean, if he got life in prison, he might, yeah. And death penalty, you don't get put in general population. You're isolated with like 1 hour of break a day. I think that's a nightmare. That's worse. I mean, those 20-something years you're on death row are an absolute nightmare. I mean, in Kohberger, I bet you there's been discussions where he's tried to plead guilty to avoid the death penalty at this point, but they're just, family isn't going to have it. They don't want that. Well, you made it sound like that, Cindy, so I'm trying to help you out, okay? I mean, don't worry. I signed up, never won one. It's really not a big deal either. Well, when did you sign up, Mike? It's so strange. Some people sign up and they get the free membership in like 5 minutes. And then other people sign up and months later they still don't have one. Yeah. I want to gift it to you, Cindy. You've been around a long time. It sucks not seeing you green up there. I'm going to send it to you. So send me your PayPal or whatever the hell it is. It's no big deal. It's like they took the death penalty. I don't remember. I don't know what. I think theirs was for not turning over discovery or something in that one. Well, hell, Cheryl Moran is now trying to get one for Cindy, but I don't know. Which channel on the political one? Oh, yeah. The job offer. Awesome. And CR sent 5 in. We got... remember when GSU PM was here? Before she started going crazy on all the mods and everything? She tried to get one gifted forever, and it just never happened. It's crazy. I never really understood that, though. Like, why wouldn't you just get your own if you're... I mean, she was a big supporter of the channel, sending in $50 here, $100 there, $100 there. And, wanted the gifted one. And it's like, I don't know how that happened. That was pretty hard. I thought someone gifted, but only 4 went through. So I signed up, and it was actually... Oh. Anna's BSing with the alternate. Well, here I think the alternate suspect is going to be the green, the Elantra. So sort of this new. Oh, we got a tip. It's going to be the green Elantra. This guy, it's got. And what they're going to do is try to sell the fact that look, under certain lighting conditions, a lime green Elantra, because of the reflective value in the paint, using night vision, can look white. He also didn't have a front license plate. I mean, that's pretty, like, wow, He didn't have a front license plate. And apparently he lived right there. But can somebody explain, for the love of God, why somebody who lives in, I'm not sure why it's so blurry like that. Let's see. Yeah, right there. He lives in this complex, why he's going around in circles over and over and over again to commit a homicide within 40 feet from his house or something. Wouldn't he just get out of his house, sneak in there and do the killing, and then go back to his apartment instead of saying, look, everybody, here's my Elantra driving around? It's stupid. And I don't have any evidence here that he was sitting there that day. The video that these people use is the day that they tore the house down. That's the date that they're using to say that this green Elantra was there. Hey, thanks, ZZ, the boxing cat. Appreciate your support. Let's see. Welcome to all the new members to the Freak family. And thanks up there to CR and Cheryl Moran for gifting all those memberships. And everybody else earlier that was giving. I think we had, at the very beginning, we had Alan J. and Cheryl Moran at the very beginning gifting. And then we had, I think Cheryl Moran's gifted 30 so far, which is crazy. Thank you. Very kind, very kind. What did they switch it to, Lisa? I mean, I think my channel has the most people that are, they sign up for, when you sign up, it has to be on that channel, right? For the free memberships, right? The Elantra is clearly white. Yeah, and here's the thing, everybody. And what they were saying in these videos, these clowns that are literally a clown and the rest of them, were talking about this lime green Elantra. They showed the vehicle driving by right here. And they said, look, see, that proves that wasn't Kohberger's car. That wasn't his car. It was actually the lime green one. See it, look it. All right, but guess what? That camera footage from Ridge Road wasn't using night vision because you can see the red taillights on it. They would have appeared white. You know how that works in there, right? Night vision. So it wasn't. And it was white. It was about as white as you can get. What am I looking at? What am I looking at? It's called chromatic aberrations, Gray. Who cares? My God. There's nobody named. It doesn't matter who the person is, man. It is unrelated to everything. Here's what sucks. Is that people even know the name of the person that was driving the lime green Elantra. The fact that you or anybody else was looking into that person makes you insane, okay? And a stalker type person. It's just sick. What does that guy have to do with anything? Nothing. So now you got these people's names out there. They're all bringing up their names on all their channels. I hope they get sued out of their asses. There's absolutely no justification at all to bring those people up. Hey, thanks, Maury A. Yeah, could you imagine if they do have the knife? Like, I do hope they have the knife. And I hope that, what's their face up there that was in here earlier, that is the knife. It just doesn't say that on there. Yeah, Bree up there. Yeah, it doesn't say it on the in the document. Now, I see that later you said, oh yeah, it just says knife, but when I said, I wonder if I said they didn't list the K-bar knife being found. That's what I said. And then the response was, no, they did. It was in the documents. You guys remember that, right? It wasn't, I didn't just make up what I'm saying here. It's like gaslighting. You get a lot from the commenters in here. Let's see. Maybe that just says suede. Yeah. I hope they have the knife too, but I think they will use a prop knife. Yeah, they would use a prop knife, but why do you think he said the knife? It seems like he would have been more clear about that. Maybe he'll, put out a statement or something regarding that to clear that up. Although well, here's the thing. He can only put out that statement to clear it up if it isn't, or like, let's say if it is the knife, I don't know, he can't do it. So if he came out and said, oh yeah, I guess he could do it only if, so here's the thing, he's in a crappy situation. Because if it's not the actual crime, he comes out and says, oh, I meant there was just a demonstrative knife. See, that would be admitting that they haven't found the murder weapon. He's kind of in a no-win situation. And then if he says, no, yeah, we do have the knife. Oh my God, he has the knife. And there'd be all this huge stuff. So he's in a no-win situation by even bringing that up. Because either way, it doesn't help one side or the other. Hey, look at that. J. Love got a membership. By Traveling Teapot. They never tested the blood on the railing. But what are they going to do with that? They have to come up with an alternate suspect. And that this person, it not just that they had the, like ability to do so, like they live somewhere, they were around or something like that. You have to prove that there's some evidence that points to them as the killer, right? That's the nexus. You can't just have, well, they were here, they had opportunity, they live right around here, they could have easily snuck over there and done this or that for a reason, but still not sure why. Alt suspect was I thought alt suspect was supposed to happen today. That's what I thought. But it sounds like they discussed the alternate suspect, and then they're going to have a hearing in June where he said in court today, I guess maybe we can try to find that spot, but he said something in court today about like you haven't really shown me anything yet. Let me see if that word's in. It would just be a sample knife. God, it sounded like it was underwater in that one. It's crazy. Now, was it alternate or was it third party suspect? Okay, there it is. Let's hold on.
12:30 or 1. I'm in federal court.
All right. Let's do 12:30. Are you handling those issues?
Alternate perpetrator, I'm very involved.
Right. Let's do 12:30 on the 18th. Proffer regarding alternate perpetrators. That will be sealed per request, I'm assuming per stipulation. I want some additional information. What I'd like is by the 23rd, if possible, for the defense to do two things. One, provide me with whatever actual evidence you have that supports those allegations,
The
rather
nexus.
than just
It won't be there.
allegations.
Right.
And two, provide for me how it is you believe that what you are offering is admissible.
Right. I think it already, just the way he's saying that right now, it's just not going to sound good. I could see it's going to be closed doors, and she's going to come in there and make these little vague connections, just like Ann Taylor tries to do sometimes, and the judge is just going to deny it. There's no way in hell. The only way you can have an alternate suspect is something really strong. Because what is there? I mean, what is there other than, okay, here's a surveillance footage of a car driving around some point. Well, it wasn't Kohberger's DNA. I mean, it wasn't that person's DNA on the knife sheath. It was Kohberger's, right? I mean, Kohberger drives a white Elantra missing a front license plate. Kohberger's the one that was searching for. I mean, it's just, can you just sort of throw out somebody willy-nilly like that? With loose connections, like there's that Brett Kopaka one that they always bring up all the time. I don't know.
Because it seemed to me much of what you had put in there was fairly
Speculative.
potentially fairly objectionable in terms of admissibility. So I would
Right.
like to see that.
Yeah,
and
just
then I
totally.
would have the state
It's the lime green
Respond.
Elantra. Yeah, that's when I brought up lime green Elantra.
by the 6th, which is 2 weeks. And then I would propose a hearing on the 18th.
Yeah. We don't get to see the hearing, of course, but, that would be pretty crazy. Yeah. About as good as, yeah. And we have a YouTuber. One of the YouTubers is one that planted the glove a long time ago, if you remember that. Good stuff. Good stuff there. Waiting till last minute to avoid scrutiny. The judge would be irresponsible to allow something in that's just kind of a stretch, but I guess it's possible. He's not going to do that. He's only going to allow something that absolutely is like, whoa, this is crazy. Look at this. He was there. And you might say that there's another suspect. There can't be an alternate suspect. There isn't somebody other than Brian Kohberger. There could be somebody other than him with him. But Kohberger was there and part of it, just like Richard Allen is bridge guy and part of the crime. And in that case. And now if he wants to point to somebody else, great. That's awesome. I know, that's what he sounds like. I hope he doesn't. It sounds like he was saying, there'd be a lot of that would be objectionable. Now, what's the nexus that this attorney's going to provide? Because if they allow like an alternate suspect in there, if they get any glimpse of a Kohberger on that jury, they're just going to go with that no matter how it turns out. You could actually have a video of Kohberger do it, and they'd say, no. Look at and when you say Brian Kohberger planted the K-bar knife sheath in Maddie's room, you mean, left it there as a calling card? That's what I've been saying. I'm not a calling card. A calling card. Yeah, it sort of looks like the Denver, Oklahoma. It looks like might be tied up 3-3. After the police search. Found what? What's going on, Cheryl Moran? 10 more. You're going for it. You're almost like you're trying to see if you can get Cindy J that one. No. I mean, it's glad that I have all these different people that have tried to get memberships on my channel. That's pretty cool. I hope some of you stay around on your own after your free one runs out. That's kind of what the purpose of it is. Get tons of love letters. I'm sure he got some. Defense tried the mental issues, now trying it with somebody else. Hey, does anybody have any looks or anything that they want to see over here? I mean, I think this is so cool that this has always been the important stuff to me, this walking around. And I have the entire place back here on 360-degree camera. I have a better camera now. I think it shoots the same. Well, I haven't even used it yet. This one was 5K. I had an 8K one, and then I already got the upgrade for that because it does nighttime better. So it's 8K. It would be much clearer than this even. I mean, this is pretty good. I was trying for 3, none of them got it. Oh, that sucks, Cheryl. But thanks for trying. Thanks for supporting the channel, too. How do you think he knew where Maddie was in the house? Just stalking? I think he knew where Maddie was from driving around. I think all those different times. He was the one. You know, it was weird about, I don't know, it seemed like about a year ago or so is when we started going, you know, well, after I visited there, it's actually more than a year, because I came here in December of 2023. So, I mean, we're looking at like a year and a half ago. Or is it 24? Yeah, year and a half ago. I was parked right here, and I just thought, man, he can just see right into Madison's room. I think, and then I started thinking that she was the target. That's all. His pure reason to go there was to attack her. Oh, there's no way in hell they're going to bring in the parents. Those are just the Kohberger people out there saying that. I mean, what would the parents' other court records have to do with this case? That seems like there's no way they would put that in there. Thank you, Christy B. Yeah, I don't. There's no way in hell they're going to let the parents' court records be part of this case. It's absolutely irrelevant. There's no way the judge would allow that. What's this bloody footprint? The footprint that we've heard about was the one in front of Dylan's room. I don't know. I don't think that's real. Send me the link to that if you can find it. I just don't know what the relevance would be. I mean, yeah, drug trafficking, it has nothing to do with it. They're saying that the Elantra was a drug dealer that was driving around the area. Yeah, Kohberger's car is the one that drove by the other place, but the Elantra back here, by Ridge Road, but the Elantra back here was a drug dealer. Really? But why would he do that when he lives there? Why would he be driving around the Elantra in this little tiny complex? I thought you were talking about the parents of the victims. That's not what you're talking about, Zozo? To Dateline is going to turn out bad. Well, here's the thing. I think you might be right. If it turns out they're able to find the leak and it's like they can't seed a juror jury, all of them that are completely unaware, then that might have an issue regarding the death penalty. I don't know, though. This case is too egregious to just be cavalier about that. Oh, his parents. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the parents of the students. The judge is still not accepting the defense's alibi, correct? Well, they don't have an alibi. That's the thing. There's never been an alibi presented by Kohberger's defense team. It's really vague that he was driving around late at night. We don't know exactly where. Just tell us what your CAS data says, and then we'll let you know where he was driving around. Yeah, he's never given an alibi. What was the question asked above there to me, though? Madison Mogan, yeah. So I think he parked here, and oh yeah, how did he know? Well, it's really obvious. So you look right here, and you can see that the room is on this side, and then there's also a window just to the right of that. So let me go to about here. I'll show you. I actually animated this a little bit more like each of the videos, so watch. You think this looks better, right? I'm actually zooming in and stuff with the camera. See how I'm moving the camera a little bit too? That one I didn't, but here I am kind of going up the stairs, zooming out a little bit. And then this one kind of backing out a little bit. Then this one comes around, comes in. And then man, he goes nuts in there. I'm just making it blurry and stuff so you can't really. And then I zoomed in on this one. I think that's way better right there, don't you think? I mean, look at that. So now I'm having the camera move. She's got her cell phone lighting up, coming around the hall. I got to put the good vibes sign on the wall there. I have it. We worked on it last night. Cheryl Moran says, catching a wave. Please help support the channel if you can. Yeah, that'd be great. If you guys could please help support the channel tonight, I'd appreciate it. Looks great. Wasn't the first flight more slow mode before? No, it's been the same speed. So look at this is a sliding glass door. So just from watching outside, you would easily know that. Well, I can just show you right here. I could go to this, go to the top, right there, and then F3, make it solid. So this is the kitchen right here. See that? That's the kitchen. And from outside behind, he's just looking like this. It's just really obvious. He's looking through this window here. And that's the stair window. So by watching from out there, you can see that people are coming upstairs. And then she's on the right as you come up the stairs. He could see all that just by observing. So then he knows when he comes in the sliding glass door right here, that all he has to do, there it is come in, turn to the right, and oh, there's those stairs that I keep seeing people walking up, even if he was just watching from outside. Then he knows, look at, there's the window that you could look through. He comes to the top of the stairs and takes a right. And then boom, that would be the room right there. You know, so it's just, to me, it's just simple observational, you know, going there multiple times, looking, watching, stalking. He knew. Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, this is, I'm going to keep going here. I think somebody did remind me of the different timing. I was just going to do Dylan Mortensen's looking out, but what I'm going to do is right after this, Dylan Mortensen's going to be outside her window, not her window, outside of her door when it sounded like there was a dog playing. That's what this is. And then I'll go back to some more fighting again. Then I'll have Xana come out, and she's going to the kitchen. And then Xana goes upstairs, and I'm going to have to go read the probable cause again, but then it's something like, hey, there's somebody here, right? And that's when she looked out another time, and then there's Xana running down the stairs. I mean, my God, I think that's exactly what it was. Xana's running down the stairs, but she doesn't see the person. She hears her. I got to see the timing of that. I think the dog was just in its room. Well, thanks, Ozzy Trisha, for following the doing the wave or alley cake. It was Cheryl Moran, alley cake, and then Ozzy Trisha. There you go. And then there's M10 joining Cheryl's wave as well. I think he was. I don't know, Maury. I saw that on another channel. I mean, sure, it's possible. And then, of course, if he's calling it in, why would he do that? Well, he wants to be there. And then you can say, ooh, look, it's a white Elantra. I thought that was an irresponsible thing to put out. It absolutely does not show that that's a white Elantra parked over there or behind. It's too blurry to determine anything, and to sort of suggest that that's what it is. That's what the Kohbergers do, little kind of sleight of hand stuff, and I'm not really into that. You know, if it was completely couched as, I don't know, it was just too much for me. Hey, thanks, Curly Lock Diva. Cheryl's wave. Hey, look at Cheryl got some wave action. Seems like they would know unless he called. They would know unless he called non-emergency, I guess. Good catch, really. The knife was found at and the sheath was a calling card. Very clean, except for the snap. Right. I think that's what it is. I'm wondering at trial if they'll say that. I think the knife sheath, I've said this almost from the beginning, once we knew that there was a sheath found, that it was a calling card. Might not be. I know it's not even 50-50. I think most people think it was just in a fight, fell there. But I think it's interesting that it was underneath Madison Mogen. I don't think she put up a fight at all and was killed. So that seems like something that was sort of tucked under later. If it was like on top of Madison Mogen or underneath Kaylee, that would make sense that it was in a battle. But the fact that it's underneath Madison, that's sort of interesting. Right, I just said that. I honestly believe he was in Kaylee's room. Yeah, right. I guess you could say, and it was also under Madison Mogen, not Kaylee, nobody else. It was under the target. I believe Brian Kohberger went in there to kill Madison Mogen only, and he was going to leave a knife sheath, and all the roommates would be running around. Oh my God, what happened? And there would just be this one single knife sheath with no DNA on it, and it was going to be just this beautiful crime, he thought. And then he would go on to the next victim and leave another K-bar knife, and that would be what links all these murders together over time. That's what he wanted to do. But what happened was, when he went in there, he killed Madison, and then Kaylee woke up, and he's like, oh, and then he had to attack her. And that was a little bit more than he wanted, but he still goes, okay, I'm going to leave the knife sheath there. And I think he stood there for a minute or so, just kind of observing what he did. He was up there observing this is just my thoughts that I'm having. He was up there observing, and that's when Xana came up and saw him just kind of in there. And then she turns around, walks down, hey, there's somebody here. Then he followed, because he'd already killed both of them before he started following. It wasn't like, oh, let me get my last stabs in and then go chase Xana. He had killed her, and then, just as soon as he heard somebody else, he went and followed. Because now it's a little messier than he thought. Because that person's going to go up and find and they call the cops. Hey, thanks, M10 and Janelle H. What do you guys think about that? What I just said? And then Xana gets involved. And he follows her, and now he's killing Xana, and then there's Ethan. He's got to take him out. And then it's like there's 3 people that were killed that weren't part of the neat, bundled up attack of just killing Madison Mogan and leaving that sheath to be his little calling card. He's going to break in like Danny Rolling with a K-bar knife like Danny Rolling, like sliding the glass door like Danny Rolling. And he's going to move from Pennsylvania to Washington like Ted Bundy. He attacked the sorority girls like Ted Bundy and an off-campus house. And then he does the Danny Rolling style, and he's doing this, and now he's got to leave a calling card, and maybe he left a signature too. I mean, we don't know about that. It just feels like he, on all of his little classes he took, boy, he wanted to get all the cool little neato things put into his homicides, his killings. He wants to do that. All right, there you go. I really think that what I'm saying right here is a really good possibility that he, from all of his studies, wanted to do all of the things that, ooh, man, he learned about signatures and how cool that, ooh, that's so cool, man. And then calling cards at some left, like the Zodiac with the encrypted letters. He was going to leave the K-bar knife. And then eventually, if he ever got caught, he could be called Kohberger, the K-bar killer. I bet he thought of all that all the way through. It's going to be BKKB, BK K-bar killer. I mean, don't you think it's a little interesting that K and B which really aren't incredibly common letters, are right there too? I'm just throwing it out there as something I just thought of right at this moment, like BK and then KB. And then you have BTK. I mean, I bet there's so many things that just sort of went into how he thinks about this stuff. That's right, BKK, BK, right, yeah, there you go. Brian Kohberger, the K-bar killer. Yeah, it's... No, what's the B? There's no C. I always notice that a lot of the people that are like, they don't know how to spell the names of, like mostly pro-burgers. I'm not saying it's always like that, but mostly pro-burgers don't know how to spell or all the names of the victims. Like they'll type in Xana with a Z, and then Kohberger is spelled like, a lot of them think it's like COLBE, all that stuff, and then it's just wild. Like, why don't you get to know at least the victims? And diversion with the military knife is, I don't think it was diversion. I think that's just what he wanted to use. I think I think the K-bar knife sheath was used because that's what Danny Rolling used. Danny Rolling went and purchased a K-bar knife and then committed the crimes. You should watch that video I made on it. It's crazy. BK is a mind I don't think we will understand. Yeah, I think that's what makes Brian Kohberger a creepy person. This isn't like everybody out there always wants to have the neat packaged up little, well, why did he do it? And yeah, that even like the school shootings, for example, those always have a reason. People, they got bullied or, they were made fun of, so they go in there and they go to do the school shootings, etc. That's out there. And there's usually an answer for something. But you know what? When there's never an answer that makes sense, it's when a serial killer kills somebody. None of us, you just go, well, why'd you do it? Oh, it's just this urge that I have. It's like this thing. And that's why he was looking up why he was the way he was. The psychopath thing. He's looking it up. He's trying to see if they can act normal because he is that way. It's like John Holmes in the Aurora shooting, you know. Or yeah, when he went in there and shot all those people. He was a psychology major, or maybe even a master's student or something. And it was really just kind of trying to figure out why he was the way he was. But they have no problem with it. That's why he does the thumbs up at the end. Yeah, I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. You know, I don't feel bad at all. Yeah, I just want to remind myself. I think his name is James Holmes. Isn't that the guy? The Aurora, Colorado theater shooting. Yeah, I didn't say that, Imoni. I'm glad you watched that, though. Whew, yikes. Yeah, he was the red hair guy. Those people remind me of the college flyer I saw once that read, "A mind is a terrible thing to wear." Yeah, the Proburgers. Here's the new sort of. That's not going to work. Sometimes you have to like change this up or something, and I don't know what that little glitch is, but man, I think this is pretty good. It's going to be really long. Or I mean, if it's like 2 minutes long, that's about all I'm going to do. Maybe 3. Get the horror movie shit going. I'm gonna get like 20 of those little shots though in there of like stuff happening. Maybe not in there. Maybe 5 more in that room, and then there'll be a bunch more in Xana's room. But I'm not going to show their faces again in there. You might see like the coloring, like right here. You can see her. This is supposed to be Xana here, and she's just walking towards the living room area. I mean, she's in the living room basically right now. The good vibes sign is on this left wall here, and there's something else on that one. And then she's just about to head towards the kitchen. But I think while she's in the kitchen is when she hears a little extra going on in the room up there. I think BK knew Xana or someone was possibly awake because he saw the DoorDash. Yeah. Well, you know what? Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's what we've gone over many times, is the DoorDash driver, it's such a weird thing because the whole DoorDash delivery is likely the reason that well, I don't know. It's hard to say, but there's a whole bunch of things that the DoorDash delivery did. You know, it's amazing. All the different... I might make a video just on that. Like, the DoorDash delivery... so that happens at... They say 3:59, but I think it's 3:59 and 46 seconds because I think that the key fob sound that we hear is definitely the DoorDash driver. It's perfect to set it, the timing. It's like 3:46. Do I have it in here? Let's see. I think I might even have it in here. I think I did put it in here. Let's see. 3:59. Right here. So 3:59:46. DoorDash key fob. 2 seconds later, another key fob sound like beep, beep. I know it's kind of shitty imitation. And then 3 seconds after that, at 3:59:51, he does it again. That's pretty common. Don't you guys do that? You go deep, deep, and then you want to make sure, and then you do the last one. So you got 3. And then and then Kohberger's headlights. So at 3:59:51, that's the last beep. So that means the car was already in there. And then at 4 o'clock and 14 seconds, literally just 23 seconds later, Kohberger's vehicle, after being in this complex, drives like this, is over here. So when he was coming in, he must have just passed that car. I mean, that car was coming in right there, and he's leaving. And then I think Kohberger slowed down when he was driving over here because he saw the DoorDash driver coming in into here. So when Kohberger's leaving and the DoorDash driver is on his way in, and Kohberger, when he's back here, slows down because as this whole drive all the way around to back here, you can still see the house. And you know what he did after that? He did a U-turn right there. In my opinion, he did a U-turn right here because watch this. After 4 o'clock and 14 seconds, headlights are seen northbound. Northbound of Walanta behind. Oh, that's when he's actually turned around. So hold on, let me go back here. At 3:59:04, right there, headlights are seen southbound on Walanta Drive. So that's the time frame. At 3:59:04, he's going like this. So I misstated that. He's right here at 3:59:04. That means he left this area at I think it's 3:58:23. And then the DoorDash driver, just a minute later, is already parked here and clicking their button. So when Kohberger's leaving, the DoorDash driver is probably down here. He's leaving. And he drives this way at 3:59:04. He's right there. And then he goes down to here and does a U-turn. And then at 4 o'clock and 14 seconds, he's back here because he saw the DoorDash driver there. Then, let's see, at 4 o'clock and 27 seconds, 13 seconds after Kohberger is driving right here, you guys, the key fobs go off again at 4 o'clock and 27 seconds, and then 4 o'clock and 28 seconds. And what's interesting about that is it means that, so 27 plus 9 is 36 seconds after the key fob first went off. That's right here, is easily enough time to go back to the back of the house, drop off the bag, take the picture, walk back and go beep, beep, and then get back in your car and drive away. But the car was still there, so Kohberger did not want to go in. That's why this is so huge right here. Are you guys following along with what I'm saying? They're in the area almost exactly the same time. Kohberger saw him when he's heading south and then does a U-turn. And he comes back up here and looks over, and he's still there. He's still there. And so Kohberger then probably drove by in this area. I would say if it was 4:14, he's heading northbound, probably right here at 4 o'clock and 22 seconds or something right here. Maybe 23. Well, that's right when the DoorDash driver is going back, so he's not going to want to drive into the facility again because he'd be witnessed by this person that's moving around, and he's even at the house he's going to go to. So you know what he does? He continues on this way. He comes around the corner and he continues on. There's no mention that this camera picked him up again going this direction, which sort of indicates to me that they are missing that footage exactly during 3:30 to 4:05, just like the YouTube upload is. So he drives by right here, and then right here, this is the key moment in observing the Elantra missing its front place. At 4:01:30, the Elantra drives by and then takes a right. It's spotted on a camera on this side of the building coming like this, and then another camera here. And that is at 4:01:30 and 4:01:43, and one of those shots is the one that shows that the Elantra is a white Elantra, a 2014 or 15, or maybe 14 to 16, and it's missing its front license plate. So without the DoorDash, that wouldn't have happened. Isn't that amazing? So think about that. Without the DoorDash, that is absolutely not happening because Kohberger would have just done his normal route. He would have driven down like this, came over here, did a U-turn, came back up, drove around, and eventually made his way back into the area. But instead, he saw the DoorDash driver. He does a U-turn. Then he doesn't go into the complex because he's still sitting there, and he drives this way and around and down, and then that photograph happens because he's going in that direction. The first time he came in was like this, and he never came by here again. Like this little portion when he drove by right there, he never did. This camera picked up the car coming in like this, and this camera picked it up driving up like that, but it never had that close-up when it was right there until that one time that Elantra drove by because of the DoorDash driver. Yeah, I mean, and also, Xana, whoever ordered the DoorDash is sort of passively connected to how, his vehicle was absolutely identified. Isn't that crazy? And then also the DoorDash driver, there's a whole bunch of things. So, the DoorDash is why Xana is awake, and moving around. I mean, I guess she might have still been awake, but she might have fallen asleep or something if there wasn't an order like, oh, let's order DoorDash. So they ordered DoorDash and they're awake, and that's why. And it sounds like Ethan was sleeping though. She was awake and wanted something to eat. And then she, and it could be that even Ethan, at 4 o'clock, he had a couple bites and he just went, when you're at 4 in the morning and you've been drinking, you can fall asleep in about 5 seconds. Yeah. Yeah, no, he definitely. So let's look at that timing again. And we're not going to use the 359. The 359 one, if it really was 359 when he dropped the bag off right here, he absolutely would have passed Kohberger right here, inside the complex. If that's true. All right? Because 359.04, Kohberger is right here. And at 358.23, his vehicle drove by right there. So that means the vehicle has to be about right here, passing him to be able to pull in and park, get out, and then deliver the bag. You see what I'm saying? I mean, he's literally delivered the bag as the white Elantra is right there heading south if it was at 359. If it's a minute later and Kohberger's right here at 359.04, and then you hear the key fob at 3:59 and 46 seconds. So let's think. So it takes about 15 seconds. Well, what's the time on that? Let's see. $3:58.23. So it's 37:41 seconds. Oh yeah, we have all this. See, look at right here. Watch. So on the different routes, so right here, the first time when he exits the area and he passes 1122 King Road, 1122 King Road right there, I have these different things timed. So right when the vehicle's spotted here leaving, and then right there, I have that time just to see the relative speeds. So on the first pass, it's 35 seconds, 37 on the second one, and then look at 41 on the third one when the DoorDash was there. That's much slower because he sees it there. And so if that's 41 seconds, that means when he left, it was 350. Let's just add 20. So it'd be 358.43 or so. 358.43. Right when he's leaving this spot right there. I think I actually have it in there. It's 358.23 to 359.04. So I think right here would be 358.46, and then a minute later there's already a car parked here beeping its key fob. So when he's turning here and driving, that car probably was pulling in. So he's probably about like right there, and the DoorDash driver's here and pulling in, because you're not going to just hop right out of your car the second you got there, right? So the DoorDash, and then Kohberger's driving around like this, and the DoorDash driver is pulling in, and he's looking over there. Now he's slowing down a lot right over here. And I actually think because it doesn't take as long to get here. There's a minute, 10 seconds, watch, from, let's see, 3:59:04, and then at 4 o'clock and 14 seconds, so that would be a minute 10 later, the headlights are seen going north again in the same exact location. So that means when it was seen driving like this, a minute 10 seconds later, it's driving north right by that same spot. And that's why this looks like the perfect spot for him to have done a U-turn. But I think you could drive there quicker. So I think he's driving up here and he's going really slow right here. Really slow. And he comes by and he's still watching. In fact, I think I can even show you what it would look like up there. If we go over to here, let's go all the way around. So are we still going up at this point? Now we're going down. So this is when I'm all the way at the top around that corner. I don't know if you can see, but look, you can see 1122 King Road right there. And then just down there is where the car would be. So even while he's driving up here, he could just look over there and see everything. See? With no leaves on the trees, you could see there's lights, a car, and he's kind of slowly driving around right back here. And then he sort of goes, and then once he drives by, he quickly goes down, does a U-turn, comes back, watches again, and then keeps driving and goes, God, that car's still there, but he doesn't want to stop on the road. He's just driving slow. And then he goes, okay, boom, and then he still sees the DoorDash, and he drives by, and that's what led to the one single shot of the Elantra's front license plate from the Ridge Road camera right there. Let's see, what do we got here? Gray, I wasn't a fan of yours when it seemed like you were defending Chris. Wait, hold on. Chris Proudfoot in the Sebastian Rogers case, but you are spot on with this case. Well, I think I'm spot on the other one too. You just don't know yet. Let's see. Yes, Gray, that explains. I mean, I don't know in that case, to be honest with you. I've talked to Chris Proudfoot a few times, and he seemed pretty normal, but psychos can do that. I don't know. Nobody has any answers. I personally don't feel like he is involved in the disappearance. Okay? And none of you guys have been able to prove a damn thing either. But, I also don't need to have the sort of almost condescending, like, hey, Gray, I agree with you here, so you don't suck as much. Well, tell me a case I've been wrong on recently. Point one out. That you can prove that it was wrong. Point one out, and you can't find one. So there you go. He must have been pissed off, to be honest. He wanted to get in there. Yeah. No, I think that's exactly right, M10. I think when he drove by, because he was just going to do this. I think he would have got back there in about the same amount of time. Because he would have driven like this. This is normal U-turn up like this, and he would have got there maybe a minute earlier, but instead he drove around this way and then all the way around, and then he got back into the area at 4:04 and something. Okay, well, good for you, Babs. I've said that's possible she knows something too. I don't know, but try to work through cases a little bit better. Let's see, do your own, like get a hold of people, talk to them, that kind of thing. Yeah, just say whatever it is. And I would do the same thing in person. That's the thing. People go, Gray, you'd never. I'd still talk the same way. I mean, I'm not, I'm probably nicer in person because I'm just talking to you. Maybe be a little bit more humorous about it, but I'd say the same damn thing. That's the thing. All right. Well, good. Yeah. Yeah, well, people call arrogant when people absolutely believe that they're correct on something. So yes, maybe I come across that way sometimes. I don't really give a shit, okay? I'm not here going, maybe, okay. I mean, sometimes you guys say stuff and I go, oh, wow, that's better than what I was thinking. Let me throw that in and start using that. Yeah, I'm just am who I am, okay? And you don't like it. Oh, also the whole narcissist thing. Oh, you know what people call narcissists these days? People that believe that they're correct. Those are narcissists. You have to cave in to every Tom, Dick, and Harry theory or you're a narcissist. Yeah, Zozo. Zozo's always like trying to like needle me all the time. Like even today when she comes in here. Boy, Gray, I was sure hoping there was a different topic. Yeah, but it's okay, you know. I mean, Zozo's, you know, she's one of my favorite people out there. I just wish you would do that stuff. You know, let me do my shows. Right, that's me. Let's see. Let's see. You are unapologetically you. Yeah, and I do apologize to people when I know that did something that was wrong. Like I didn't understand it. They'll send me an email and go, "Hey, Gray," you know, and I say, "Oh shit, I thought you were saying this," and I probably about 50 times misread what was going on in the chat and said stupid stuff. And then I feel bad about it later because I didn't actually see the previous comments and their context, etc. But the people that don't last here are the ones that the first time you do that, oh God, that Gray guy, and they just take off like a nut job. You know, had they ever just had a conversation, I would have even on the show said, "Hey, sorry," you know, and I've done that. I've done that many, many, many times, and the people that are here every day actually hear it. Yeah. It's crazy. I wonder if the results would have been different if the door had been locked. The doors had been locked. Well, I think he was prepared to be able to break into that sliding glass door. Right? I think, yeah, like the other day you know, and there's times where I'm an ass sometimes on the show because I'm not in a good mood and I just say something, you know, like Paulette the other day, you know. I was mean. I was like, you know, talking about the Karen Reed case and shit. You know, it's just, it is what it is sometimes. Who the hell knows? Gray's mean to his subs. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of times there's these people that show up. They're not green. They're not anything. And maybe they are a sub. And they're rude as hell in the comments section. And then I'll say something back, and then that's me being rude to the sub. It's like, God, you know, I don't care. If you're like that, I don't care if you're a sub or not. Do you understand that? Like, you come in and you say something like, "Oh, Gray, you're a," and you go on and on and on. And then I say something, "Gray, you're mean to your subs." Okay, well, do you want a sub like that? The ones that come in and complain right out of the gate, those are always going to be a problem, like forever. Yeah. But anyways, back to this. Isn't this, I think this is pretty cool. I have it set up now just with these little buildings. Those are all the surveillance shots. I still need to put one on this one here, this building right there. I thought I had that one. Let's see. Maybe I don't. No, I guess we can just add one in now then. Why not? No, there it is. I got it. Oh, that's the whole thing right there. So almost the entire 40-something minutes was inside of this maroon sort of gun-shaped area, right? And then the complex that I call it is right inside this area, right inside here. Because every time the car comes in, there's no way out other than back out that way again. There's no way out over here or anything. You cannot get out of here in a car from back here this way at all. There is a parking area here, but there's a wall that goes around, and you cannot get out. The only way to get out is to drive around like this or go back out that way. And you can come out this way, and that's why this camera on this building is so incredibly important. Hey, D. Rich. Never apologize for being awesome. Well, I'll try. it's just really frustrating. Those hard. I don't know why my channel, when I do a show, I don't get to have 4,000 people watching. I don't know if I want 4,000 though. I think it'd be cool to have like 800 or something. But I think my information is better than what other people do. I don't know what it is. It's just, I mean, maybe that is me, and that's just kind of why it's like that. And I guess that's okay, Can you see 1122 driveway from the entrance to their neighborhood? You mean this spot right here? Is that what you're referring to, Renee? The complex is what I call it. Okay, so this area here, I'm going to extend it out. Let's see, hold on. There we go. I'm just going to put this right to here. There's really no reason that shouldn't have been there. All right, let's see. I can do it right here on this. Just go back a little bit. So there's the end of it right there. And you cannot see it from back here. Poor Genesis. He's like in every single shot. That's funny. Every single time if I turn around, he's in there. I told him, I go, man, you're more famous than almost anybody on my channel. But yeah, right there, right? But let me show you where you can. I mean, I guess if you go, I'm going backwards now. See, from right here you can. Well, let me go back. Yeah, right here. So I'm in that driveway. And see right there? There's the 1122 King Road right there. That's the house. Maybe he didn't know the DoorDash specifically parked. I think I'm showing you where he could. I just explained it a minute ago. Watch. So when he saw the DoorDash, he's leaving. I think when he's pulling out, he could see a car basically back where this car is, right there. Somewhere back in there. And he saw it, and then he drove up here, and then, just being Kohberger, like, kind of suspicious, he's driving around up here, and he's still looking over there, and then you can see the car, and then at some point you can see that it turned into the complex, because right up in, let me just get up in here, he's driving up here. And I would say, I guess that's a good way to look at it. On this map here at 359:04, he's up here. And that's about when the car would be pulling in for it to drive, park, and then hit the key fob. So when he's up here, he can definitely see, I'll show you. And this is about what it looks like with no trees or anything. I think I gotta go back a little bit. So he's probably driving slowly from right there. You can see, watch. I'm just gonna hit play. See that? Look at. He's looking over there. See that white car? You can even see that car parked right there. See that? Right there. It's backed in. So he could see. So just pretend this is his vehicle driving up here. And he's driving around, and he's up here, and even right here, he could have even seen right here, the car driving up right there. And then he slows down quite a bit up here. And from right here, look at this. There's a car parked in the driveway. That's that security car. Look at that. Does that change your mind on that at all? See that? Walking up there, and he'd be on this side over here, of course. And let's see when we're going back down. I think we go to the other side, so this will be a good way to look at it. So we're over here. Poor Genesis. Anyways, there it is. Look, see right there? There's the vehicle. So he's driving. He's observing this whole time, and he can still see it there. He knows the lights on of that vehicle because he's driving up here. He can see, and he's not going to go to that house at that point. But once it left, he risked it. I mean, isn't that just really risky? Like, oh my God, he knows that somebody was just there. And what does that mean? He's going to go in. I mean, he was prepared. He killed 4 people. And so look at, he's still looking over there. And then he makes his way around here. Here's another position behind 1119. Yeah, they're not as thick. I was there. That's what I'm saying. This is me filming here. So look at it. It's driving by right here. See that? There's the house with the camera on it, and you can still see that car parked right there. And then it's interesting because I think the guy went around the back and dropped it off at the back there. But that's the only spot that you can see that. But all that whole time there, and that's basically from right here to up here. You can see the house. So that distance, you can see it. And then I think after that is when he went around like this, did a U-turn, turned around, came back this way, drove past because the car's still there. That would be absolutely idiotic to go there with the car outside and knowing that there's somebody awake with a car that just pulled up. So then he drives around, and this is the whole thing. It's just crazy. Watch this. So let me go through the whole thing. Then he comes around, and then because of that, the license plate, the car is filmed without a license plate, and the year is able to be identified because he drove by right there. He only did it because of DoorDash. Then he drives in here, and let's see, let's get the timing exactly right. At 4:04, a vehicle matching description of vehicle 1 is seen southbound on King Road at 4:04:56. All right. So at 4:04:56, he pulls back in right here. And because of the DoorDash driver, he drives by, and he's slowly driving here, and he looks to see, and he can see that the lights are on, but he's just not certain. So you know what he does? He does a 3-point turn over here because of the DoorDash driver. And then he goes back this direction, looking again, watching and seeing what's going on in there. Then he does another 3-point turn over here, pulls in, backs up, drives this way. And then this time it's go time. All right? He's had enough waiting. He's going to do it. Goes around, and then he parks the car, and then goes into that house at like 4:11. But by the time he came back, it looked like, because at this point, they've already got the food. They're likely maybe even eating it or something. And maybe there's not a lot of movement, so he's ready to go. So he parks out here at 4:08, and he's still watching. It looks like it's really dark in the back. And I think he got blood spatter mitigation. Then he goes inside the house at maybe 4:10-ish, makes his way upstairs, and then probably like around 4:11, he starts attacking Madison. I mean, just around that time. We don't know. But isn't it interesting? He did this whole 3-point turn maneuver back here and here because that DoorDash driver threw him off of what he was supposed to be doing or would have done naturally. He wasn't going to do a 3-point turn around, and then do another 3-point turn, and then he wasn't going to do that. But the DoorDash driver was just there, or a vehicle was just there, and he was just sort of double checking, and it looked to him like the environment was right. So then he sped around the corner. And if you haven't seen this, look at this. After he speeds around the corner, the first pass was, look at it, 35 seconds, 37 seconds, 41 seconds. Let's see. Queen Road, and then this is behind 500 Queen Road. Yeah, this 32 the brown one is what we want to look at. So this one is a vehicle matching description of vehicle 1 is seen southbound on King Road and east on Queen Road, and then traveling behind 500 Queen Road. And that's 23 seconds. This one's 29 seconds on pass number 2. Then 32, so they're all slower. Look at that. 23, pretty quick. 29, then 32, and then look at the last one, 19 seconds. So he was just hauling ass around that corner to get to the site. He's ready to go now. He's really ready to go. And then when he was leaving, you know how at the end when he's leaving at a high rate of speed, look at this. This is 35 seconds at 11.36 miles an hour. And this is from Queen Road turning onto King. And then headlights are seen on Willanta Drive behind 1119. So that would be from right here to right there. So from here to there is what we're talking about. So like he goes like around like that and then right there. And the timing on that is the first pass is 35 seconds at 11.36. Then 37 seconds, even slower, at 10.74 miles an hour. The third pass is 41 seconds. He's even going slower. This is the one with the Elantra. That's why he's driving slower like that. I mean, the DoorDash driver. That's why he's driving 41 seconds, 9.69 miles an hour. Now look at this one. On the final one, 18 seconds at 22.08 miles an hour. To me, it looks like he's going quicker than that, but it's still way faster. I mean, almost double the speed, more than double the speed of this one. Can I get a boom? Come on, you guys. That's good stuff. I don't care what they say. Let's see. It was... But Gray... It's AI? Oh, jeez. But Gray, that tape is sped up. You know what? It isn't, though. I mean, I remember when I originally saw it, I thought, man, that looks kind of weird, you know, but it isn't, so... Is this the one here? I don't remember which one. Let me see if I can find it. I mean, this was one of the all-time greatest videos ever made. Unfortunately, nobody saw it. Oh, that was cool. Yeah, I put some cabinets up in there. Yeah, let me see. Okay, 407, and there's inside the house. And then there's the vehicle turning on, the headlights. People are actually saying, Gray, how did you get that shot? How did you get inside Kohberger's vehicle? I'm not. It's just me filming it when I was out there. Wow. Not the brightest bunch of people, are they? Uh-oh, I feel like I'm going to freeze up here in a second. Oh, I'm kind of freezing up. Let me get rid of this thing. Uh-oh, we're going to be freezing. If it freezes up, I can just come right back on and join the same stream. Just letting you know. Come on. My head's barely moving. I can see it. What does it look like to you guys? Am I moving around at all? Do I seem normal? Okay. Yeah, I can see my mouse is moving really slow on the screen. And it's better now because I shut that down. Okay. Yeah, it's like a lot of laggy. It was lagging a little bit. Yeah, it says something like your YouTube is not receiving enough video. I think it is now, though. How's it going now? Does it look better? I think it's better now. Yeah, I think it was that video. My Adobe Premiere was using up a lot of RAM at the same... I mean, I have 64 gigabytes of RAM. I thought that would be enough. I think my next system will have much more... I was frozen for a little bit. Crazy. And by the way, there isn't 912 people. Maybe 500. It's going to start dropping now. I can see the crazy little graphic on the side. No, the picture got sharper. The Kohbergers are sabotaging my internet. Yeah. So what do you guys think about all this? I just think it's it's so interesting. I love cases where you get a lot of the facts to look it up. I don't like the ones where, and a lot of different facts. Like this case has a ton of stuff to be putting together. I'm sure Karen reads like that for people. I don't know. You know how there's always cases that you're interested in and some you're not? It says I'm 9,000 kilobytes a second, so that's easily enough. So that's, 4K, not 4K, but 1080p. Maybe you're on rewind. All right, how about now? Can you guys see me again? It looks like that yellow thing got off the screen. Yeah, well, I turned it off. I stopped streaming. And now I'm back up again. I know, I did that on purpose. What are you talking about, Jay? I'm not sure what you're even referring to. It's fine now. All right. Well, there you go. Yeah, everything seems like that sort of fixed it. Not sure what happened there. Yeah, there we go. So it's a little bit better now. Yeah, there was a little yellow warning on my YouTube side, even though I'm streaming, 9,300 kilobytes a second. Right. I think that's why this case is more interesting to me than others, is this isn't one that has a neat explanation into, like, why he killed these people. It's the thing that everybody's scared the most about. Just some absolutely unknown person to the victims killing people. It's the serial killer. It's a serial killer. Serial killer. That's exactly what he's doing. Just some random person to them showing up. Even though the victims might not have been random to him. But they haven't been able to find any connections for some reason. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's absolutely true about that. Because it sounds like the FBI has stalking information regarding him. So, well, I guess you do see that with him driving over there and being within 100 yards of the house 23 different times. And even that, so the night of the the night of the pool party? I think that's interesting. That the night of the pool party, that's right here, by the way. This is the pool at the Grove, Moscow. So then he goes back home, right? And then that same night, late at night, he's within 100 yards of 1122 King Road. So who at that residence was maybe at the party, just the pool over here, which isn't far at all, by the way. Let's see. Now that is not even, that's 0.6 miles as the crow flies from the complex to where the pool was. It's not far at all. It's not even a mile. And by the way, if you guys are out there and you can help support the channel, we've ended up on one of those long lulls again. So if you have the ability to, that'd be great. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. We, unlike most of the channels out there, do a lot of great stuff with a huge portion of the income each month to various charities, etc. What link? Oh, I think we were talking about something earlier. Let's see. Oh, yeah, the one about the... Parents of Idaho student murder suspect have been subpoenaed to testify. Oh, yeah. Now that's that case that we covered a while ago. We were wondering why the Smithers case, or what, I can't remember the exact, I think I have it underneath here. It might be separated. But it was a separate case that they thought maybe he was involved. I don't know why, though. Right there, Dana Smithers, right here. So, here, I'll show you. Clear over here in Pennsylvania. You knew what? What did you know, Rudamaga? So right here, Dana Smithers, I remember she was, let's see, she lived here, and then at some point at night she went over to her friend's house. She's on surveillance camera looking like she's heading back, and she was earlier, I think, over at happy hour or something, and then her body was found right over here, and for some reason people thought maybe it was related to Kohberger, because he lives, it's not too far from here. They wanted the grand jury to look at it. Don't know why. And why they wanted, look right there. Let's see. Yeah, like 20 miles or something? Or is that? Yeah, about, probably like 24 miles driving. Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder, I don't know. His parents would be, in this case, really stupid to try to be alibis for him. I'm getting a pink nefarious shirt. Is the promo code? I don't know. Isn't there one somewhere in the... Somebody messaged me the other day they ordered something nefarious but it never came or something. I don't remember who that was. I don't know what to say. You got to get a hold of their support. They're pretty good at replacing things that break or that are not shipped or whatever. Yeah, there should be a code in the membership. Hopefully it still works. Uh-oh. Is it freezing up again? No, he wasn't tracking the 4 people from the party. Yeah. Nope. Man. Oh, those 4 people. The ones at the hiking. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. He's like, hey, I like hiking. And then he shows up there, and they're there, and he keeps walking past them, almost like he was... what was he going to do? Like, what was he planning on doing on that one? That's something I've thought about. When he went to the hikers, up to the, I think it's Kamiak Butte. Is that right? Up here. He's up here hiking, and he sort of shows up right when those friends were there. What was he thinking of doing? They weren't really friends. They were just people he met. They didn't even remember his name. But he remembered all their names. I guess this is what it looks like out there. Right here. This is part of the... Oh, man. That's serial killer alley. I think if he'd gotten there 20 minutes earlier, there might have been a weird story. Who knows what he had in that little backpack, I guess he probably had with him. I think he just became sicker after he moved away. I don't know, when you say sicker, what do you mean? That's who he is, man. Like Dexter moving away from his dad, or his dad dying. Anyways, I did 4 hours of streaming earlier. Now we're at 2 hours and 25 minutes on this one. But, I don't know. Still, maybe. Let's see what any kind of news is out there, what people are saying. Okay, that's the leak information. I'll just type in his name. Forget the hearing. It's going to be live streamed now. That was the key thing that we heard about. Was it any different, the article, than what we already went over that whole thing? Like a couple weeks ago, I did the whole case. Was there something I needed to read that was in it, or that was any different? I mean, I don't know, like about 3 weeks ago, I went over the whole thing, and even, I think, read this article in it. I guess we could do it again. The parents of Brian Kohberger have been subpoenaed to testify before a Monroe County, Pennsylvania investigative grand jury. This is back in like 2 years ago. Almost exactly. To testify before a Monroe County, Pennsylvania investigative grand jury, according to a source familiar with the situation. Kohberger's father is expected to testify before the impaneled grand jury in a sealed proceeding in Pennsylvania Thursday, according to the source. So you think they were the alibi for this case, right? His mother previously testified before the secretive panel, the source said. The parents of the man indicted for the killings of 4 University of Idaho students were subpoenaed in the Pennsylvania jurisdiction where they live and where Brian Kohberger was arrested last December. Their compelled testimony under oath may be shared with prosecutors in Idaho, according to the source. Pennsylvania law allows judges to release transcripts of witnesses' testimony before grand jury to other investigative agencies after a court hearing. An attorney representing Kohberger's parents. Oh, I wonder if it was just like, hey, listen, can you guys sort of make it seem like Kohberger is looked into for this case so that we can get questions asked to the parents that we can then use in this other case? You know, I don't know if that's what they were doing, but it kind of makes sense. The Latah County Prosecutor's Office declined to comment to CNN, citing the gag order. By law, a Monroe County grand jury can only review potential crimes that occurred within Monroe County, Pennsylvania. It is unclear what potential crime they are investigating. Grand jury proceedings are secretive by nature, and documents related to the proceedings are sealed. Kohberger was arrested at his parents' Pennsylvania home almost 7 weeks after Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin were found dead November 13th. He drove from Pullman, Washington, to where he was studying criminal justice to Pennsylvania for the holidays with his father and stayed at the family home from mid-December until his arrest. Yeah, so I think we did go over this when I went over the Smithers case again a few weeks back. I don't know. I don't know what that means, like why they were asking. Apparently, it turns out they said in another article that they don't think that he's involved. But I'm wondering if they wanted to get in the questioning by the grand jury to the parents, if they were able, because they were subpoenaed, the parents, that had to answer specific questions about Kohberger that the people in Idaho could then use. Stuff like that. What do you think of that technique? Or was there something that really connected him to that Smithers lady? I don't know. What do you guys think? I guess nothing. Nobody's typing. I haven't seen any typing for like 10 minutes. Hello? Man, I wonder if my computer's crashed. How can there be 500 people watching and only like one comment every 20 seconds? It just doesn't ring true. Yeah, I don't think he's connected to that one. I think it's that maybe they're going to use information they got in that grand jury subpoena. Computers crashes? What does that mean? They always say that. You're just listening. I guess that means it's not interesting. No, it's not frozen. I even reset it. I think they had to clear Brian Kohberger just due to all the news hype. Okay. Mike you always comment as if you're this sort of, you're in the know, you're part of the investigation, and you don't think he's involved. Nobody knows anything. There was an article that said that investigators don't believe he is involved. We're talking about, did they intentionally try to add them to the grand jury there to get other questions asked of the parents about Kohberger that they could then use as investigative leads in the Idaho case that they know he's involved in? That's what I'm wondering, if they just use a little tactic like that. I don't know if you watched any of mine or not. Yeah, I mean, if she was killed with a K-bar, like a knife, then maybe that's where he was practicing his craft. There, I just commented. Hey, good for you. Can't ask what? Oh yeah, let's see, the Smithers, let's see. Well, they don't have that mentioned in here, do they? Yeah, that's not even... Let's see what it says. It's searching the web, doesn't know.
As of now, there is no evidence linking Brian Kohberger to the disappearance and death of Dana Smithers. Smithers, a 45-year-old woman from Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, went missing in May 2022. Her remains were discovered in April 2023, but the cause and manner of her death remain undetermined. Speculation about a possible connection arose because Kohberger was living in Monroe County, Pennsylvania, the same area where Smithers disappeared, before moving to Washington State for graduate studies. Additionally, Kohberger's parents were subpoenaed to testify before a grand jury investigating Smithers' case. However, authorities have clarified that this does not imply any wrongdoing on their part or a direct link to their son. The Independent +own Wikipedia +own Reddit +4, the Spokesman Review +4, the Independent +4, the Stroud Area Regional Police Department.
Right, that's what I was saying. I think they're just they maybe just used it to subpoena the parents to get information about Kohberger to use.
Issued a statement emphasizing that there is no evidence tying Kohberger to Smithers' disappearance. Smithers' sister, Stacy, also stated that authorities informed her that Kohberger was not in the area at the time of her sister's disappearance, and that the cases are not connected. AL +6, the Independent +6, the Independent +6, New York, Post +2, the Independent +2, the Independent +2. While the grand jury investigation continues, as of now, there is no established connection between Brian Kohberger and the Dana Smithers case.
Yeah, it sounds like up here that Kohberger was nowhere near there at the time. So I think they just used the grand jury to subpoena the parents to get sort of some background information about Kohberger for them to use in the Idaho case. Pretty clever, if you ask me. They might. But I might have been like, his magnus opus or whatever the hell the term is. Like he was going to try to do this one great one to start off with and then continue on. I don't know if he's ever killed before. He could have. 28's, kind of about when they start. Well, it sounds like he went there later in the evening. His phone pinged within 100 yards of the house that night of the party. I think it was, what is it, August or July 9th? Is that right? That's what it feels like. Oh, I guess it was the 10th, July 10th. No, the 9th is when the Grove is, right. There it is. So July 9th, the Grove. And then, right here. I gotta move that. That's out of order. Ah, shoot. And then this one's out of here. Right, so then in the evening, he was within 100 meters of 1122 King Road. And it says Kohberger was in the area 12 times after the party and before August. Then it says right here, on the 10th, women he met at the Grove sent this woman a text message. He said, "Hey, I'm pretty sure we spoke about hiking trips yesterday. I really enjoy that activity, so please let me know. Thanks. Oh, and by the way, you have nice birthing hips," he followed up on. Then on August 1st, he was within 100 meters of 1122 King Road. Kohberger's phone was in the area 12 times, and usually at night. And then August 1st, he was within 100 meters. Yeah, that was weird. He did that. And then August 16th, Kohberger searched Bundy and finds an article by Emil. Oh, yeah, that's right. What the hell was what was the name of that document he looked up that was the Bundy-related one? I was watching the documentary, and it showed up on the screen for a second, and I was just laying in bed, so I didn't have a pen or anything. Natty posted an image of all 5 residents on August 16th. This is the same day that he's looking at Bundy. And then that's the same day that Kaylee talks to officers regarding noise complaint. And then some people think that Kohberger's the one that called in the noise complaint for Kaylee to come outside. And then because of that, then why would he do that? Other than be able to monitor how fast the cops got there. So maybe he was around in the area watching, and then therefore he's got to be one of those white cars that's sitting around. August 21st, Kohberger is issued a citation. August 26th, he was at his apartment, probably typed in, "When can a cop detain you?" and searched for forced, passed out, drugs, sleeping in a Google search. Then 5 days after that, that's when Nayun Ko break-in, watch, and letter missing in a security setup. Suspect Kohberger, but trusted him prior. Something like that. Then September 10th, Nayun Ko, that's the break-in. Then September 30th, Google search sociopath traits in college students. He's looking up himself. Then October 1st, Kohberger's phone started to appear again in Moscow near 1122 King Road. October 14th, he completed its third visit near 1122 King Road within 100 meters. Another, like during this other string of time. And then October 14th, pulled over in Pullman by a female officer during the day regarding claiming an intersection. Then October 19th, Googled, can psychopaths behave pro-socially? So he's talking about himself. Like up above, he's saying sociopathic traits in college students. Can psychopaths behave pro-socially? So he's trying to figure out, like, how can, he is the way he is. How do I act differently? Kohberger's phone, and then on November 7th, this is the one that's kind of eerie. It's like November 7th, he's within 100 meters. He's within 100 meters again. And then November 10th, he stopped using his credit card. I'm not really sure, like, what that means, or, And then November 12th, Kohberger was watching some YouTube videos. Just before, I think there's even a time associated with that, but I didn't write it down. It's crazy, And then I actually have all the notes in there now from even after, with, all the Bethany stuff, all their conversations all the way up until, sort of interesting in the middle of all that. This blue here is the CAS data, and this is a surveillance camera. So when he comes back to Moscow at 9:12, he's within, I think, 100 meters of the house. And then 59 seconds after that, a vehicle matching description is seen traveling southbound on Highway 95. His suspect vehicle. So these two things show that he's in the same area, the vehicle and as phone data. And that happens a lot, actually. Like red is his vehicle being spotted, and blue is CAS data. And you can see that they marry up in the same locations at different times. And specifically, even earlier in the evening, right there at 2:44 and 2:47, and then at 2:53 and 2:54 in Pullman. And then down here at 5:25 near Bishop Boulevard, and then 5:26 in Pullman again, and then 5:30 in Pullman, and 5:30:18 in Pullman. Cast and visual sighting. So I think those are the ones that people overlook a lot, that they don't really realize the significance of having those two together. Huh? No, Jenna, that guy, the guy that you just mentioned up there, is an idiot. Okay. So anyways, you can go ahead and do whatever you want. He actually has me blocked over there because when I know the cases and I go over there, he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. And by the way, whenever there's a serial killer type person, it's always the same thing, you guys. He's a white male between, like what did he say? 20 and 40? 28 and 40. Because that's the standard range of the serial killers, and it just goes on and on. It's so cliche. It's almost embarrassing. But people like you believe it. You think, oh, these guys, they really think, and it's just not reality. No, I know what you're saying. We don't know though, Jenna, because it doesn't say anywhere in the documentary that they watched his video. All right, I know you do the same thing every time you come in here. Right. Yeah, he says this. It's the same thing. And I've watched that guy, and he's absolutely inaccurate in many cases, but the people watching don't know it. So they all think, oh, this is great, and it's garbage, okay? So, if I'm sure he's entertaining as hell, it's awesome. But when you know somebody's wrong, factually, when you're watching, then you sort of wonder about all the other ones that you didn't know anything about, and you watch them. They didn't say, they never mentioned any video that he did. Let's see, it's from 1970, or maybe the video they said he watched on YouTube happened to be the one he did. I don't know. Man, you watch all those? You're crazy, Jenna. You should go. I don't know if this is the right spot for you. Let's see. No, he's. Let's see. Folks, I have to run. Hey, see you later, Sherry. Have a good one. All right. Anyways, I'm going to get out of here myself. So thank you to Wise Child, Jeffrey Sadal, Alan J. gifted 10 memberships, then Cheryl Moran gifted 10, then Allie Cake, then Mac Jack, then Christy B, then Ozzy Trisha, Ted Bundy showed up, Cam Hart, Rick Jr., Cheryl Moran gifted another 10, then It's Just Bella, then Cheryl Moran gifted another 10. She was trying to get specific people memberships, but it wasn't working. Then K, me, CR, Maury A, then Traveling Teapot gifted one, then Cheryl Moran gifted another 10, then Kimberly Gabaldon, then Christy B, Cheryl Moran with a super chat, then Allie Cake, Ozzy Trisha, M10, Curly, Loke Diva, Christy B, M10, Janelle H, Laney Carter, D. Rich, and Janelle H. All right. Janelle H gifted 5 up there. So, very kind. Thank you guys, everybody. And I think today was a good day, made up for a couple of those slow ones we had recently. I think we're back on track. All right. But anyways, thanks everybody for watching. Make sure to check out that video I put out earlier that had a little snippet of the animation and a little bit of descriptive information. All right. So anyways, thanks everybody for being here tonight. We'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. And who knows what tomorrow will bring. So as I always say, everybody, and I want to thank everybody for buying all the memberships, especially thanks to Cheryl Moran for buying, I think it was like 40 memberships tonight. That's absolutely incredible. Appreciate that. And everybody else as well, thank you so much for your support. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. And you know what, guys? I'm going to try to be nicer. No, I'm not. I'm just going to be me. I'm going to try to, I'm going to be nicer. I just, forget it. I think I'm nice most of the time, but when I hear something that I think is crazy, I just have to say something. You know what I'm saying? All right. Thanks, everybody. See you guys later. Be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this
Quite a while.
one person that is a
Crime dissector. Thanks, Entail, like Reno.
a certified human lie
Detector, I'm gonna get you.
on a stretcher. You
Gonna
can try
run pretty like a little projector. Crime sector.
is my nectar. Professor Grillo's
Gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector. And I'm always gonna be a pup protector.
Fool deflector, interceptor,
And I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector.
on his
Vector.
with all respect.
Respect ya.
Just remember I've a temper fucking Conjecture, I have no agenda. I'm a pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight with that.
Shut up, Timmy.
And in the end,
I wanna do it.
I'm gonna send ya
Ja,
on a messenger with your true offender.
Hey, what about me? I wanted to do something tonight. I didn't get to say anything.
Shut up, John boy.
Yeah, shut up, John boy.
Hey, Timmy, what the hell are you? I've never heard you in my life.
Wow, we're arguing on the show.
What are those people doing, for God's sake? Anyway. Alright, see you guys later. And be safe out there.